US Novelli, 3:22 a.m., June 5th, 2024. The cause or causes of a lot of social unhappiness. I'm no social savant. Even at this very moment, if you want to be like real specific about things, I have zero friends. Um, I had some, but I left those friendships behind. Due to me feeling like we wouldn't be compatible in the future, like long term. I didn't see us remaining compatible with one another, and I didn't like being around them and not feeling it for real, like not feeling like we should be around one another, because we just didn't feel locked in, like we didn't feel in it together. So I use that to like preface or add a disclaimer. I'm not some wizard or expert on the matter of being social. I'm pretty quiet, I'm pretty shy, even though I'm trying to work past it. But these are, or this is, or these are, depending on how many I come up with, because I'm just freestyling this. I wanted to get into basically settling. A lot of people get into these relationships, whether it be platonic or romantic, and maybe everything was going good, but they stick around even after things have gone sour, and they don't have to take like a huge, like, things don't have to go like crazy left, but they'll see that they're no longer compatible and stick around and like complain and vent about their partner to other people and whatnot, while witnessing the incompatibility, like firsthand witnessing disrespect and witnessing all this bad treatment that their partner is giving them. And again, sometimes it's not even, like negative for real. Like the thing with my friends, they didn't do anything to me. Again, it was just a case of I didn't think that compatibility was there anymore. But people will see that, and whether they label it or not, they just like stay there and just stay in a state of complaining about it instead of like progressing. Whether progressing be leaving them and finding a new social circle, or talking to that person about whatever issue they're having. Um, some things can be mended. Sometimes you know the person and you're just like, it's not gonna work if I talk to them. Or you may feel that way and you can still do it anyway, and maybe, hey, it does work. But a lot of the time you know whether you can talk to the person, whether they'll actually listen, and things could potentially change or not. And if you're dealing with somebody that isn't gonna be that kind of person, isn't gonna be willing to take in your feedback on them, that might hurt their ego or whatever. You tell them ways that you think they've been lacking or doing too much in, and they wanna like treat you as the bad guy or something, then you know what kind of person you're dealing with at that point. But I see a lot of people, as I have time to observe people in social settings, they'll be with somebody platonically or romantically again, or sexually, even online and stuff. People will talk about their relationships nonstop and openly, more openly online. And of course, some of it's fake. I know that. I'll be on Reddit, as I've mentioned it before in one of the videos. I think it was the last one I made. But people will be online or in person talking about how negative their relationship, and I'm just wondering, like, and when I hear them talk, I'm just like, do you even like the person? Like, what are you doing there? And I think one trap people get into is they feel obligated to be there, because a lot of it's sometimes with family, and especially with like spouses, when like sometimes they're married, sometimes they have kids, like, and it's not as simple as just break up. I think it is as simple as that when it's no kids, honestly. But again, I've never been through a divorce, so I can't say that for sure. But people be like boyfriend and girlfriends, or it's just friends, or like a cousin, brother, sister, doesn't matter. Maybe it's a family, like another family member, like dad, mom, others. I'm just like, bro, why are you interacting with them? Why are you with this person on a regular basis? Why are you giving this person your time? If it's a forced relationship that you can't really get out of, then I mean, it's forced. You can't do nothing about it. But like, you're sitting around in a relationship that you are not happy in and wondering where the happiness is gonna come in at. Like, it's not coming. It's not around the corner. Like, leave. Like, it's not there. There is no happiness there. And for some reason, I see people get in that and don't see that. So I don't know if it's just an observer looking in thing and they can't see it because you know how some people say you can't really see everything of a situation when you're really in it, when you're emotionally invested, when you get those rose tinted glasses on. But yeah, I'll see that. So that goes for relationships where everything started off good, but you know, maybe things, it could have been the person was faking, or maybe they just really did change, or maybe you changed in what you want, or maybe you changed for the worse or something and became a worse person or something. I don't know. But I guess that's the case of a good a good relationship turns sour. And then there's superficial starts to relationships like good looks or charm or warmth, or the person played savior early on or something, and you start the relationship with that. Actually, sex can be something big there too, whether it's at the start of the relationship or as it keeps on going. A lot of people may hold on to that. Maybe the sex is mind blowing, but again, you still have to make a choice. You know, what's more important. You know, you have to choose to make sure that you're in a beneficial relationship, you know, in a good relationship, a good, healthy relationship, not just a relationship that has some good parts to it, but for the most part, you're unhappy, especially if you have reasonable standards. I mean, some people expect, like, their partner to give and know everything that they want and to be some superhuman person, but you know what to do. But you kind of, again, put on the rose tinted glasses or rose colored glasses, however the expression or phrase goes, and you just ignore the incompatibility or incompatibilities and bad things of the person. It's just like, wake up. And again, yeah, you're emotionally invested. If you're like me, it doesn't even have to be you haven't had as many friends or relationships, but just speaking on me, the fact that I've had less relationships the last few years, that I like attach pretty easily emotionally, but I'm still, I hate to pat myself on the back or like give myself an award, but I feel like quote unquote wise enough to decipher when it's something real and good or not. And most of the time it's not. Like, I don't know if that's because I'm just that hard of a person to please. Like, I don't want to say please. Like, I'm very agreeable, but like as a person fully, like it's hard for me to like find somebody that I really like emotionally and mentally. Like, I can look at them objectively at their traits and whatnot and be like, yeah, this is a good person. I'm interested in them. They're interested in me. We are friends, or we can become friends, and we go through that whole process or whatever. But yeah, people will be taken in or, you know, drawn in by people's good looks or how they made them feel, because that's so important to people, and don't actually look at how they're being treated and what behavior they're actually witnessing or seeing the other person exhibit, when that's what's important. Like, that's gonna be the dynamic and basis for like the rest of your relationship with them, whether how major it is or not, whether it's a coworker or, you know, a boss, or if they only end up being an acquaintance or friend or lover, you know, partner. Like, these are things that people just like dish aside, and I think that this is where I might get a little controversial here. Terms like what's it called, unconditional love. I think stuff like that even gets in the way, because like a lot of these people will have love for people and don't have a clear reason why. Like, why do you, again, why do you give this person your time and energy and love and care and respect when it's not actually, when they're not actually deserving, you know? Like, this person isn't actually a good person and or good for you. And if they're a good person but they're just not good for you, then that's a different situation. But it's like, not a good person, not good for you. And I'm just like, how are you in a relationship with this person? Like, where's the connection at? Like, really is mind-boggling to me sometimes, hearing people talk about this kind of stuff, talking about their friends or their partners, and I'm just like, where are y'all actually good with each other at? Like, where's the goodness of the relationship? Where's the positives? Like, I see none. But I guess in that situation, it's kind of like, just stop settling. Like, have some standards, stick to them. Don't get too wrapped up in your emotions or how you feel about the person. Stop being so limerent, if that's even a word. I know the word limerence is a word, which is like overly obsessing over somebody, especially when you don't have the details, like the full details of the person. If you're in a dating situation, you're like in a talking stage, as our younger generation would call it. It's just like, be real with yourself about that other person, and you be real about whether y'all would actually be compatible long term. And compatibility doesn't always mean the same, which is why I have been using the word compatibility and compatible and incompatible, because you don't have to be the same to get along, but you do have to get along. You do have to be compatible with one another. You do have to work together. Stop fooling yourself. Stop playing stupid games. Stop cutting them off when you know that that's what needs to happen, of course. Don't just get trigger happy and, cut off something beautiful or something just because there was like the slightest misstep, or the person just happened to have a flaw. Like, we're all gonna be flawed in some way, I'm sure. But you live with what you can live with and cut off what you will not deal with or not put up with. I see this situation too, which is a lot more specific, but I'll label it the butt of the joke friend, or maybe even the therapist friend too. Two different situations. If you're the person that's like always getting clowned on, and for the most part, if it's your social circle, you should know whether it's actually real jokes or if it's like them low-key putting you down, but in the form of a joke. And unfortunately, I've been like somebody that would do that to people, and maybe I've even been the butt of the joke too. I mean, we're all the butt of the joke sometimes, but on a regular basis, like routinely, is what I'm talking about. So you gotta decipher those moments too. Make sure you're not actually being bullied in disguise, or bullied under the guise of, we're just fucking around, getting the whole quote unquote Schrodinger's asshole, the person's joking, getting insulted, but every time you press or confront the person on it, they claim they're joking. Lighten up, just take the joke. A lot of people will pull that. So you gotta learn to decipher those and navigate that however you see fit, and not put up with nonsense. It's better to be alone and have good company with yourself than be around bad company that's gonna put you down mentally, emotionally, may even stunt your growth socially, may have you feeling unworthy or ugly, or just in general worse about yourself, worse about your chances with other people. The whole therapist friend feeling like you're always there for them, but they're never there for you mentally or emotionally, for problems and burdens and stuff like that. Get you some friends that support you, especially if they're capable of it. Some people will tell you straight up that, they're not built like that. They're not, which I still think that they should try. Effort is caring and whatnot, but that they're not the best with emotional things, and it might have something to do with how they were raised, or the household that they grew up in, or the dynamic that they had or didn't have growing up. So things like that come into play. But yeah, I even seen a situation about it a while ago. It was probably a month or two ago. Some dude had posted on Twitter about how he cut off his friends because he had some major surgery or something, and none of his friends reached out to him to see how he was or nothing. And they were mixed opinions on it, and I was on his side. Of course, we didn't get to see his friends, what they did or didn't do, so we just kind of had to take his word for what happened. But I do think that the friends, if they were actual friends, like, why not check on your boy? Like, why not check on your friend, boy or girl? It doesn't matter. And there was another crowd that was like, he was being too feminine, he acting like a girl and stuff like that. Like, bro, why would you do that for your friend, or not do that for your friend. Like, why wouldn't you check up on them after some major surgery like that? Like, if it genuinely slipped your mind or something, we all have our own lives, but to know about it and or think about it and decide not to put that effort out there, just like, hey, are you all right? Even the slightest bit of indication that you cared for their pain or whatnot. It's just like, reach out. But yeah, that's it. Pretty simple. Nothing mind blowing, but I still do think people need to be reminded of it. Going into relationships, put on your thinking cap. Obviously emotions are there, feelings are always going to be there. But you gotta think about stuff rationally too. You gotta look for compatibility and incompatibilities that you don't want to deal with or that you do want to have. Also gotta remember to not settle. Stop putting up with bad behavior. Stop putting up with incompatible relationships. Even if it's a relationship that you feel like you need to have or you're obligated to have, or people be afraid to cut off family. And it's just like, bro, if they're treating you wrong, don't be a part of that. Like, it doesn't matter what the relationship is, but make sure you're getting treated right. I even had a talk with a family member about this kind of subject, and it was like a TV show, and there was a family, and there was one person that was like, their stereotypical grumpy character, and their grumpy attitude, demeanor, personality was rubbing off on one character, and they finally had enough, and like exploded on them for being rude and whatever. Because it wasn't just grumpiness, it was just like being flat out rude, like they're a rude character. But yeah, I was talking to a family member about it, and they were defending the rude character. And I didn't say anything to them because it's kind of an authority relationship. I just kind of let them have it. I didn't want to push the conversation further and get into an argument and whatnot. But it made sense because that same person deals with and dealt with these kind of relationships where they're enabling the person's bad behavior. With one person, it was somebody that passed already, and one relationship, it's still going. With another family member, I'm just like, of course you would side with the grumpy character, the mean character, because you're an enabler and a grumpy person yourself, putting up with that, but at the same time complaining about the person behind their back, talking about how they should be acting and how they shouldn't be acting. It's just like, if you would stop putting up with this nonsense, then you wouldn't have to complain about it and stuff. Like, this never should have became a norm. It wasn't fine when they did it the first time and all the times after that. And they also said the classic line, that's just who they are, in defense of the character, and it's just like, no, it's not. It's literally an infamous line. It's not just a famous line, it's an infamous line, because people do not like it. It makes sense as to why they don't like it. You can't just have somebody just be a real bitch and be like, huh, that Sam sure is a riot. Like, no, they're just a bitch. And stop complaining while expecting others to excuse the bitch behavior for the lazy excuse of that's just how they are. Like, stop it. And stop it in its tracks. Like, stop accepting poor treatment and complaining about it. Take the good treatment. Only take the good treatment, Go where you're appreciated. Go where there's some reciprocation. All of that good stuff. Make sure that your relationships are happy and beneficial and positive, because that's what you want at the end of the day. The last cause for social unhappiness that I'll bring up in this recording, I guess, unless I think of something new, is not making enough attempts. I'm not going to say making any, but not making enough. If you want to improve your social life and you don't have as many friends as you want to have, or you don't have the right friends that you want to have, making an attempt is probably what you need, Otherwise, your only opportunity is to get a handout, I guess. So basically somebody else making the move for you, or getting put in a position where somebody's forced to talk to you, and then something just naturally develops from there. Which is how I feel like I got a lot of my friendships. Like, we were just in a classroom setting. We probably were sitting in a group. That's why I love being in groups and having projects and stuff to work on with people. Because like, they're kind of forced to be there with me. So it's like more, we have an intention around what we're doing, and it's scheduled time to be together. it's not like I'm taking time out of their day to, maybe persuade them into being my friend. I'm not, doing anything extra like that. It's just natural and organic talking. So that could be one thing. I've definitely been a victim of that. Not, or somebody who's made a habit of not doing enough talking. Because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty quiet. But for the longest time, I thought I was an introvert. Just found out I was a shy extrovert. And that shyness is, hard to get around because I'm not used to being the initiator. But I'm trying to work on that. But yeah, if you really just stick to that and just really just talk to people on the regular, I mean, I feel like you have to find your people eventually. You're not going to like everybody that you end up interacting with. They're not going to all like you. But if there's something that clicks there, you won't regret it. You're not going to regret a good relationship that you built. And even if it doesn't turn into a relationship, if y'all are at least cool with one another, maybe y'all can have an acquaintance type relationship, even though that's not what I prefer. But, that can be cool sometimes too. Maybe, sometimes it's not that deep of a relationship. Y'all just say what's up to each other now and then. And y'all, kind of y'all have each other's backs. But yeah, I think that's another cause for social unhappiness because you're not really making any moves. You're being passive. You're waiting for something to come to you. And I need to learn to be more aggressive about things that I want, especially socially. Especially since it's something that I've claimed to be my passion now, which it is. I feel like I need to start making more moves. I need to start opening up to potential rejection or acceptance. But yeah, and once you do it so many times, I'm sure you get desensitized to it. Like, you've shown yourself that you can do it. Like, it'll only get easier as the time moves along, unless you take it very personally and maybe it affects your mental health, that you feel like you've gotten rejected one too many times or something. Maybe it affects your psyche and whatnot. But as long as you just keep in mind that you're not going to like everybody's not going to like you, you're going to find your crowd, you'll be fine. So yeah, I guess that's it. I didn't expect it to get this long, but I'm glad I got a video out. It's been tearing me up inside because I've been like wondering when I would drop a new video, but at the same time, I didn't want it to be forced. I didn't want to hop on the mic and just start saying random stuff. So yeah, this is a nice quote unquote return, even though I don't think it was that long of a break YouTube wise. But yeah,